It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
So this is a question from Mary, but also a question from Alex, but they're related. So Alex said, hey, why don't you guys ever recommend trying to find a company to work for to pay for your education? Right? You always hear about there's companies that will provide.
Like a co-op.
Like a co-op, or we have a family member here on the Money Guy Show who told us about a company that does that very thing. But then this was Mary's question. In the future, please discuss how to give children a debt-free degree. My son is going to college, parentheses, I hope, in 10 years. Okay. So what are some ways that we can think about if we have young children saving for college, or if we have older children that are getting close, what are some ways we can think about paying for college?
Well, I mean, obviously, we talk respect the FOO, the financial order of operations. Before you start saving for the kiddos, you got to make sure that you are doing what's right for your financial life.
Yep.
So I feel like I have to say that as just a kind of a disclaimer. But once you are at the saving phase, I love 529s. I mean, because these things have gotten even more powerful because you can not only use them for college, you can use them for trade school,
Yep.
you can use them for K through 12. I mean, these things have really become powerful. And a lot of times in a lot of states, there's tax deductions
Yep.
for funding them. So we like that. But there was also the part of the question was, how do I ensure that they get a tax-free or an interest-free or a student loan-free, debt-free education? I got to think go ahead and start working on your children about their mindset.
Yep.
Because how many people do we see, and I had all kind of peers in college that were when they taking their student loans, they just loaded it up because they knew that, hey, that's going to also help my lifestyle, so I'm not going to feel like the brokest kid in the room, So when you're putting, lifestyle decisions on that student loan that's above and beyond shelter and the basics, you're really getting in some dangerous territory. What I would encourage as an alternative, because I also think it sets you up for success. What about working through college?
Yep.
What about, because co-ops, by the way, that is great. I know a lot of it, where I've seen co-ops be really powerful is if your child is in a STEM type program, like engineers. Every one of my friends that kind of went to an engineering school, they all kind of got co-ops and all kind of got their school paid for because when you start doing those co-ops, a lot of times those are trial runs for the companies to figure out if they want to hire you. And if they decide to hire you, they're going to give you kind of a golden handcuff opportunity of paying for the rest of your school. You don't see that as much. At least I haven't in business as much. I've seen it primarily in engineering. But it is one of those things. I know in college I drove a school bus.
Yep.
It was the best paying job at the University of Georgia, driving these big school, these big buses. Think about when you go to Disney World and you see those buses, same type of things. Paid $7.25 an hour when I was there. And I thought I was rolling. I mean, it was great. So, I mean, that's what, and I thought it was great from a lifestyle standpoint is that, yes, sometimes my friends were going out and doing stuff and I had to say, no, I can't do that. I've got to work a shift tonight. Yeah. And look, that stinks. But think about it, guys. That's kind of how life is. There's going to be some things that's deferred gratification in reality is that you have to give up things to have success. So I think there's not only a financial benefit, but there's also a tremendous life benefit that you can pick up by understanding the value of doing a job while you're in school.
The only thing that I'll add to that is you mentioned working while you're in college. I think one of the things that you can do really, really well when your kids are in high school is understand what opportunities are present to them there. A big thing you ought to know is, does your state do something unique for students that go to school in your state? I know in the university system of Georgia, there was a scholarship program for anyone who went into a public state university. So you ought to know what schools make that available to you. But I know that there is a major fast food chain as well as a major grocer that if you go work for them, even in high school, you can actually earn dollars towards your college tuition. So if you're someone who's living in that world or working in high school, that's a great way. Go make money, but also use that money to potentially work towards college tuition. That's a great way to go ahead and start early. And then the other thing, this is something that I did, if your student has the capacity for this, taking joint enrollment classes in high school
that's
is a great way to help offset the cost of college, because it is much less expensive to do that when you're in high school than when you actually get on campus and do that. And you can start college perhaps having an entire semester or an entire year knocked out.
I was about to say a whole year. I knew a lot of kids it's a new trend. I know it was going on in Georgia. It's definitely going on in Tennessee too. is that you can go to college as a sophomore.
Absolutely.
Now, look, socially, not the coolest thing, but it's financially could be tremendous for you. So take advantage of all those opportunities. I think that is a very many-faceted question, but we just kind of check the boxes on a few of the big, broad ways that you can consider so that you have the best opportunity coming out of college, not only ready to jump into the workforce, but also be as debt-free as possible.